Oh, welcome. Just gonna go over the setup files for Nations at War. Um, what you should do to try to get everything all set up so you're no hiccups. In case anybody's having trouble, I figured this might be helpful. Um, so let's get to it. Had the mod DB for the client installer. That would be here. Uh, yeah. Okay. So here's the client launcher. We'll pull that down real quick. And you'll find sometimes your antivirus might bitch about it being scary or this or that. And I assure you it's a safe file. It's just we can't afford to have it digitally signed. Yeah, I was looking it up trying to find out. It's like something like $250 to $700 a year for a freaking certificate. And I'm like, nope, can't do that. So, anyways, you just have to kind of deal with that part and that fact. So what'll happen a lot of times, you go to run it and it won't run, right? It just sits there and then it stops. So I go to the show folder, right? I right click show folder or just go to downloads or whatever you gotta do to get there, wherever your downloads are. Find the file, which I happen to have multiple ones, the same thing, but whatever. Look in properties, and you'll see right click on it, go to properties, and you'll see this unblock. That's why it's just a safety feature in Windows. So then what you do is you go ahead and run this thing. Minimize that. Minimize that. And what we want to do is we want to point this thing to our previous installation if you're an existing player, because you don't need a new install, you just need to freshen your install. So what we want to do is overwrite the files in the root. So then wherever you installed Nations at War is where you're going to install it again, same place. So I accept the agreement. We've got our readmes in there. All right, so this is pointing at by default, it's not going to memorize your location. It's always going to default to this program files x86 Nations at War. I personally have a different location, so I'm just going to navigate to it, and I know what's in my C drive under Nations at War. Uh, see how it see how it doubled up? You got to be careful of that. So what you want to do is just go here if it's in a root directory, and now it'll install it into its own folder, into its folder. So just be wise about looking at the path and comparing yours. Make sure it's right. Otherwise, you might have an installation in a place you didn't expect to have it. All right, so here we go. And click next. Install. And if we navigate there, you'll see that your file structure should look something like this. So top level Nations at War folder and all the contents should be inside. You shouldn't have another Nations at War folder in the Nations at War folder, if you know what I mean. So if you did that, then you did it wrong. It may work, but it would be wrong. So at any rate, that's all you need to do, and then once you complete the launcher, the it'll kick off the launcher. If you've already installed our game, you've already installed your key, you don't need to run this. You can uncheck that. And even if you miss this, the launcher has a means to be able to accept your key in the options. You'll see. Uh, I'll show you. So it's going to verify your installation, and it compares and makes sure that the launcher is up to date, which means this whole launcher now going forward will be updatable in itself. So if we have it or find any other bug in there that we need fixed, we can hopefully do it without having to supply an installer, And it just tells you, hey, there's an update for this, and you click on it, and then you say you want to update, and it'll shut down the launcher, download a new one, and fire it back up, and It's got some prompts or whatever. Really simple though. Makes it a lot easier. So anyways, in utilities, if you're a new player, just go to Key Installer, open that up, and just input your Battlefield 2 key, and you should be good to go. Existing players, you don't need to worry about this. You already have it set up. Um, and really, that's about it. With this update being that there's a new, uh, we replaced the executable. We had some work we had to do in the game. Naw, I can't talk tonight, man. The Naw.exe, the main game executable. I would strongly recommend that you do a clear shader cache before you fire up the game, just to make sure that you rebuild your cache with the new exe. Your mileage may vary. It might not. You might not have any trouble if you don't, but it's a safe bet to do, especially when in the future there's going to be a shader update. Uh, so that will be critical then. But anyways, that's how you do it. For new players, you should just, when you run the installer, point it to wherever you want it to be. I mean, if you got a games drive or whatever, just set it up that way. But the main thing is existing players, so you don't have to do a full download, update, reinstall. Just install it to your original directory. Okay? So, with that said, the server launcher works very similar. So that I'll supply in a post or something, or it'll be up on ModDB soon. But everybody I know that has servers, I've pretty much sent a link to. But for you that don't, I'll try to put a post up. And this runs the same kind of way. So, well, let me see here. Where did I put that? Hang on a second, and I'll pull that one. It's going to be in, yeah, my documents output. So, if you look at, here it is. Alright, so I'm going to run that. And the same rules apply with your AV and your, Windows and its insane and security. So you same thing, follow the prompts. And then here, like I'm just going to install it somewhere. How that works, that's fine. But if you have an existing server, you're going to want to navigate to it. So, just be wary of your path and make sure it matches where you're going. So, but anyways, I'm just going to overwrite that one. Then it's going to overwrite and add, and it'll update the launcher. Create a desktop shortcut, yay. And away it goes. Click next. Finish. And this will pop up. When this pops up, it's because it doesn't know where it is. It can't detect it. So you'll have to navigate one more time to your root directory and look for the Naw w32.ded.exe. So we'll do that. Naw server. And there it is. All you need to do is click on it and then click open, and it'll fire up. It went behind my window, but there it is. And then the mod's not installed. You just go ahead and install the mod. Like, I don't usually run the server on this machine, so this is a fresh install. And it'll pull it all down, and then you can go ahead and use either the server launcher or the supplied, we call them Naw CC and Naw CCD. And they're kind of a replacement that's been modified for Nations at War to work with BF2CC. So those of you that are familiar with BF2CC, it's fully capable, and it comes with the package of files to be able to do it. I'll make another tutorial for that if people need it or want it or whatever. If they're not sure how to host a server. Just make a request on the Facebook page or something of that nature, and be glad to help you out. And that kind of concludes it. So, the main purpose of this is to have a more stable platform for our stats system, to hopefully never have to reset ranks to 0 if something went awry on that machine. Um, multiple reasons, but very good reasons, and I think it's well worth it. And stay tuned for future updates because we've been working on a lot of stuff in this game recently. Uh, from anything whereas from optimization improvements, shader package improvement, thanks to Papadanku at PR who rewritten the script, the shaders, shader code to work with Shader Model 3, and they work great. So kudos to him for being able to pull that off. Uh, at any rate, that's it, I think, for now. So good luck, and hopefully y'all stay safe, have fun, and enjoy. Take care.